Most of us have heard about organ donation, and also according to surveys, most of us would be willing to give an organ to save somebody's life. On the other hand, not as many people have heard about giving your body for dissection. Universities need a constant supply of corpses to dissect and teach medical students, for example. Doing an informal survey, I discovered that 80% of the population would not be open to the idea of giving their bodies for dissection. And today I'm interviewing my husband, Jeff Pajot, and we'll be discussing his opinion on the topic of giving your body for dissection. So, Jeff, the first thing I want to ask you is, does that result surprise you about the proportion of people who would be willing to give their bodies up for dissection?
No, I'm not surprised at that. I think that most people would find it uncomfortable to think that what's happening to their body even after they've died.
Would you be open to giving your body for dissection?
Yes, I would. So I have a degree in kinesiology, obviously, as you know, and when I was in anatomy class, we took training in anatomy with actual cadavers, and they had told us that people had offered their bodies to do that for the purposes of science, and without them, we would be at a loss to be able to study all the different parts of the human body. And so I was very grateful for the fact that people would actually do that. I think once I'm dead, my spirit and my soul are gone. It doesn't matter really what happens to my body. And if I could advance science and help people learn more about the human body, I'm happy to do it.
As usual, we can see how education often changes your perspective on a lot of topics, and it removes a lot of the fear. One thing I do want to ask you, though, is the fact that now corpses can be replaced by very realistic cadavers. Does that impact in any way your opinion on that topic?
I would say no. I think no matter how well you design a fake cadaver, plus it would be extremely expensive and endeavor to do that. You get a lot of anomalies in the human body that you could never expect unless you actually do it on the real cadavers. You see the tissues in their actual state, not in a fake plastic state. So I think it'd be beneficial to still have cadavers, even if you make very realistic dissections. I think it would be very strange for somebody working on a plastic model and then one day actually have to go and do it in real life, and that's the first time they've actually seen a real, real life human cadaver. So I think using human cadavers is still better than the plastic models.
And has your opinion changed over time, or have you felt that way as long as you can remember?
Yes, ever since I was in kinesiology. So I haven't given any thought to that before I went into kinesiology. But in second year university is when we studied anatomy, and that's when that first occurred to me. And I've always thought that. I thought it was, very good of somebody to offer their body, and that's asking a lot, I know. And people who've done it, I'm very grateful for, and I would like to do it myself.
Would you feel differently if your body was given for an exhibition, for example, rather than classroom dissection? I don't know if you've heard of Body Worlds. That's a type of exhibition where cadavers are used to educate about anatomy.
No, that wouldn't make any difference to me. However they want to use it in a respectful way for the purposes of education, I think it would be fine. I mean, it's not me, it's just my body. Like I said, my soul and spirit are gone, so that would have no impact on me whatsoever.
Do you think that schools and healthcare programs should do more to educate people about giving their bodies for dissection? For example, we hear a lot about organ donations, like I mentioned already, but not so much about dissection. Like you said yourself, you didn't consider that question until you went to university. And I think most of us go through life without asking ourselves that question. So should we make sure that people are educated about this topic?
Yes, absolutely. It would be interesting to study and look at where do the healthcare programs and medical schools get their cadavers from. And I would suspect, if I was to guess, probably it's from a lot of students and staff who work in that field because they understand the need for it. So if the general public were better educated, they would absolutely, have an opportunity to make that decision early. Organ donation, of course, is very popular in our society, and we are educated about it, and we write it. You know, when you get your driver's license, you can offer to donate your organs. They should increase and definitely promote more about cadaver donations as well. I think we could do a better job in that respect, and schools and the healthcare program should be doing that.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you. I really appreciate hearing your perspective on this topic, because that's a question that I need to figure out for myself too, and I haven't quite made up my mind, but you're giving me some good arguments to think about, and I really appreciate that.
We get to kiss?